Hey everyone, Maria here. Good to be here with you today. Thank you for your patience over the last couple of weeks. So let's pop into our questions today. We have some really good questions today. The first one's from Lisa, and the question goes, I have this need to be perfect. A lot of introverts have this need to be perfect. It's showing up in my work. I'm super paranoid that I'm not doing a good job or I'm going to be in trouble. I know this is my inner wounded child. I have dealt with this my whole life. Question: how can I parent myself that will transform this need to be perfect into healing and health? Okay, the type is INFP in this case, but all introverts tune into this answer because a lot of introverts, a lot of us struggle with this. How do I know that, the work that I've done is going to be accepted in the outside world? I'm paranoid that I'm not doing a good enough job. Am I going to be in trouble? All those kinds of things. Very, very fantastic question and good to get this answer out there. So, one of the reasons why we get so paranoid is because we're introverts. If we are in an introverted loop, meaning that you have your driver process, so your adult self and your inner 10-year-old, your 10-year-old inner child working together, because one is a decision maker and one of them is an information gatherer. If you only use those or predominantly use those, just excuse me one moment. There we go. If you predominantly use those parts of you to do your work, then there's always going to be a massive pressure from outside world to kind of let that work into the world and see what comes back. So if you actually started to negotiate with the outside world throughout the process of your work, then you wouldn't have this, oh my God, how's it going to be? It has to be perfect. What if it's not perfect? What if I'm in trouble? What if I've done a bad job? So what you need to do is, so say for example, you wrote a book, and throughout this book project, as an introvert, you don't solicit other people until you send it to the editor. You might be feeling, I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe the editor will hate it, whatever. Or even worse, if you write this book and you don't send it to an editor and you send it to a publisher, you're likely to think you're going to be refused, and you might actually be refused. Every piece of work that we do at work needs to relate to a bigger picture than just what we do. Every single thing. And this is true for, self-employed people, employed people, entrepreneurs, investors, people who are even retired. Everything we do, if we're doing it with other people, should have a point of contact. So what I'm doing over here should have a point of contact with what's going on over there. Why am I doing what I'm doing? That's the question. And if you keep asking yourself through, for example, this book project, if you keep asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I writing this piece here, which is maybe my own experience? Why am I writing it? Am I writing it because I want to share my experience, or am I writing it because it's going to help those people over there? And then you give that writing to those people over there to give you feedback on whether it helped them or not. Then before you send it to your editor, which then will give you more feedback on it so you can mold it again, and you probably send it to an editor again, and then you get into a place where you can submit it to the publisher. Then what happens is that you've got real world feedback throughout your project. So you don't do this massive thing and then you put it out there and it's this, how's it going to be received? So let's just say that you're at work, let's just say you're working with people, you're working with patients or clients. It's completely okay to ask your patient or client, how is this feeling for you? Check in with them. How is this going for you? Are you happy with this? Is there something I can do better? Because you just continue to the two-way conversation between yourself, your work, and the world, and you keep improving on what you're doing. And so you keep getting, this feels like it's that whole perfectionistic thing that I should already have arrived. Sorry to burst your bubble, but you haven't arrived, and nobody has. And that's why it's important to ask continuous feedback. When I do mentoring with people, I ask them, how is it feeling? You might have even seen me go at the end of these videos, because these are really one way unless the other person is live with me. But I say, if this doesn't resonate with you or you have further questions, just pop them into the comment section. So there are so many different ways of including the outside world, and keep referring the work that you're doing to the outside world and back, to the outside world and back. With the feedback that you're getting, then you can improve or change things as you go, so you don't end up in a situation where you've done, this big chunk of work and have not got any real world feedback. So Lisa, that's what I would say. I hope that helps. Pop down your questions. If you have any questions or additional comments or confusions, pop them down into the comment section so we can get to it. But yeah, it's definitely, I think what's happening is you're in an introverted loop and you're not communicating with the outside world. And then because your inner child, if you're an INFP, your inner 10-year-old would be introverted sensing, which means that introverted sensing means that that person has like an internal bank account of information that it refers to project onto the future what's happened in the past. So if you have for a long time been feeling like you're going to be in trouble, or if you have situations in your childhood where you were in trouble because of something that you did, now that little inner 10-year-old has put that into your memory bank, saying whenever you do something you're going to be in trouble. You need to remove the inner 10-year-old from the information collecting part and give that information collecting to your inner parent, which in your case is exploration, and just explore the different possibilities with the people outside of the job, but within the employment, but outside of the particular job that you're focusing on, and get feedback. Just say, hey, how's this going? How does this feel? Is this all right? What would you do if you were in my shoes? All right, so I hope that helps. Second question is anonymous, NF type, so INF type, because this is Introvert Success Initiative. And the question is, I have been trying to let go of my emotions that aren't, mine, but I don't even realize that I'm picking them up constantly. How can I be more aware of what emotions do and don't belong to me? How can I get better boundaries so that I don't pick up the emotions of others? Couple of things. Okay, so I'm going to answer the first question first. So how can I be more aware of what emotions do and don't belong to me? Well, you can shift and sort the emotions and say, does this feel like it's mine? Does this feel like it's somebody else's? Or you could just say, I don't actually need to know exactly what is whose. So I don't have to control this by saying this emotion is mine and that emotion is that other person's emotion. You can just say, these emotions are present. These emotions are present. And then ask yourself, where in my life do I exhibit these emotions? So you take away like whose fault it is into where in my life am I doing this? Because then what will happen is that you'll find, if you start looking at that, you'll find where in your life you're doing it, but you also will find out whether this particular thing is yours or not. When we get triggered, when we notice that, especially picking up other people's emotions, when we notice that we are, picking up emotions, or we have emotions that are unsavory, what we tend to do is we tend to try and get into the bottom of it. In the meantime, most of the day will have gone and our productivity has gone, as they say in Finland, like a cow's tail. And so really the fastest way to move through this is to take a piece of paper and pen, and you get some emotion. Let's just say that, I'm feeling stressed. Is it mine or is it somebody else's? All you got to do is take a piece of pen and paper and just go, piece of paper and a pen, and write down, where in my life do I feel stressed? So now you're actually starting to own the stuff that is yours, because you will have stress in some area. And also the things that trigger us about other people or are brought to our attention or understanding or comprehension by other people are actually a reflection of us. Because if we didn't have that within ourselves, we wouldn't notice it in others. So how do you, how can you be more aware of what emotions do you and don't belong to you? Every emotion belongs to you. Just ask yourself, where is it? Is it happening in this situation? What other situations does it happen in? So just go down that road. And then your second question is, how can I get a better boundaries so that I don't pick up the emotions of others? A lot of INF types have this issue. And it's not about getting better boundaries. Like, it is about getting better boundaries, but people think it's about getting better boundaries with other people, and it's actually not. It's about getting better boundaries with yourself, that you have the discipline to take out that piece of paper and pen and write down, where in my life do I do this, as opposed to trying to figure out whose emotions they are. So you actually stop picking up other people's emotions, because it's no longer relevant if they're others' emotions or yours. You now have an outlet for them. You can take the piece of paper and pen and just journal on it. So, because I'm getting a sense from this question, how can I get better boundaries so I don't pick up other people's emotions? It suggests that you're a victim of other people's circumstance, and you're not. You have so much power that you probably never realized that you have. So it's not about the other people ever. All of our experience is always about what we're doing, or what is activated within us. Because when you're really comfortable with your emotions, and when you don't have a problem about something and somebody else has a problem, you have infinite patience to sit with that person and just listen to them and, help them with that. So the question really becomes, where in my life am I doing this? All right. Any questions, comments, or confusions on that? Because that concept is probably flipped on its head a little bit. Just pop them into the comment section. And I am super looking forward to our next session next week. If you have questions, pop them over to desk@introvertsuccessinitiative.com. That's desk@introvertsuccessinitiative.com. And I look forward to answering those questions with you. I just want to say, thank you so much for your patience over the last couple of weeks, and also thank you for doing this work with us. It's such a privilege to be here with you today. Have a great week. I'll talk to you next week.